And we're live, folks.
Hey,
Bonjour!
what's up, guys? This is Dustin Garman, of course, with co-host. Be sure to throw chairs at him. Do not forget.
No, we want to throw those at Schmidt. Come on, guys. Get real.
Oh, I mean, he can
Get
throw
real.
that. Perfect. I like money. Please give me money.
It's your one shot, guys. You can only throw stuff at Chibi here. You can't throw it on the other shows because you'll be hitting Schmidt instead.
And of course, Johnny and Babata immediately start.
My Cuddles Commando Captain.
And of course, today is none other than Taylor Schwab. Am I saying your last name right?
Schwab. Like Charles Schwab. No relation. No relation. If I was related to the investment banker Charles Schwab, I would not be living in New York. I'd be in a much more exquisite area.
Nobody asked me how to pronounce
Le
stuff.
Penguin.
Le Penguin.
Nobody asked me to mention stuff because I butcher it all the time.
That's okay.
But I just wanted to go over a few announcements real quick. Of course, always remember Bob Dunn. Also remember, I seen a post where he's been back in the hospital. I'm praying that he'll have, as he's getting on this healthy lifestyle and that his body will improve and stuff. But remember Joshua Bryan, aka Mr. Giggles at this time. Other than that, announcement wise, we are getting close to Grand Gathering 3, and I cannot. Oh, I'm telling you.
The countdown has commenced. Less than a month, people.
I feel like the Grinch Stole Christmas. When the Who has a big countdown thing.
As someone who survived the first Grand Gathering in 2019, this is definitely a show you do not want to miss. I already heard that my former partner, my good friend, my best friend, the Cheetah, bought the very last ticket. So it is officially sold out. I heard that there are some people that have some tickets available, but you're definitely not going to want to miss out. I heard it's fantastic. It's definitely not something I don't want to miss out on.
I've seen some selling them, I think, that can't go for 80. Be looking in the post, guys, just to make sure. But if you didn't get your ticket, I'm sorry, but be looking because some people will be selling.
Use that discussion group.
How's it going, Taylor?
Doing all right. It's been had a lot of mental stuff going on the last couple of months, but I'm doing what I can, going through what I can, and I'm here to fight another day. So yeah, how you guys been? I'm just happy to be on this show. It's been a while. Shout out to the tribal chief, still waiting. John Press 1P trying to get on this show, and apparently he's not taking the initiative like I did. So you just gotta ask.
But I appreciate you wanting to be on the show, man. As much as I've played you and I've talked to you on Facebook and stuff like that, you've always and I will always acknowledge somebody that's really positive in this community and a really great source. So I applaud you for that.
All those notes I sent you definitely helps too, right?
But going over some of them notes, of course, always message and wanting to know, our guests to have the topics. And this is your episode. That's how I always see it.
Thank you.
Going over your backstory, we were, before the show, you were telling me that you've been here a very long time.
Very long time.
I didn't even realize that.
2015. So that is back to the old Chinese fortune box days with the stickers on the side and the sticker dice. My good friend the Cheetah and I went to a small little convention in Long Island. We actually ran into the boss there. It was like 1 or 2 booths. It was very small in a little hotel. And we ran into him, and Ian spent the whole day there just demoing Super Show because he's huge into wrestling. You talk to Ian, and any chance you get, he'll always know all this stuff about wrestling. And I'm just like, I like card games, I come from Magic, I come from Yu-Gi-Oh! So like, all right, I'll dip a little money into this. So we got our Chinese food boxes with like Rising Sun on one side and Big Shot on the other, and Ian got Snake Pit and Ombre, and there wasn't 4 competitors, it was just those 2. So I ended up getting that, and then the next day, because it was a 2-day con, we went back there, and I actually got to meet my very first wrestler, who has a very special place in my heart, and he is in this game, and that is Smiley. So that's why Smiley has a huge, big place in my heart, because I met him that day. Got a picture with him in his green mask. So
Nice.
it's
Sadly,
good
I
times.
I came a year after you.
Hmm.
When we had that, they had that Gen Con. Was it 50 or something like that?
I've
Um,
always wanted to go. That's the one con I'm missing out on. That, and I hear Huntsville's real big, so definitely on my list.
yeah, I'm gonna try to make them to both,
Hmm.
but you came when it was a very, talking to Steve Resk, and I've had him on the show twice, and how it started up and stuff like that. It's unreal, the competitor wise, what they were based off of,
Hmm.
and how, which I know when I first started, there was like less than maybe 20 or 30 competitors, so probably you didn't have that much of a amount,
Oh,
did you?
cool. No, I played Big Shot. I didn't really use Rising Sun much. I actually gave the Rising Sun to someone else so they could play. I mean, you figure there's only 4, 5 competitors, 6. I mean, we're going back to like the cardboard, vinyl looking competitors, like no
Yeah.
linen. This is pre-linen. These are the straight edge cut. So like Amazing Red, I know was one of them. But I didn't get red until later, but like, maybe like 7 or 8. I mean, there was only like a couple. So, you're only playing with a couple competitors. Boss didn't even have his competitor out at that point. So, you look at the community and where we've grown, not just the people, but the competitors, thousands. And we're just getting more and more each year. I mean, we're getting reprints, we're getting remakes, we're getting reskins, we're getting all new competitors, all new gimmicks. Uh, I could never imagine that when I started playing. Gonna be honest with you, I took a little break. I jumped back into Magic, and the Cheetah just kept playing and he kept going and he kept amassing a collection. And then around maybe 2016, 2017, like late 2017, I'd say I jumped back in and I realized, okay, now we got a lot to choose from, because my big thing was, well, I'm only going to be using Big Shot or Smiley, and Smiley, there wasn't many flying cards back then,
Hmm.
so it was kind of tough. So a couple of years and you get like at least 400, 500 comps out there now, around that time. So yeah, it was a lot better to jump in, and he had a lot more people playing too.
Now, one question that I do have for you, and it's talking about you starting in 2015, and I've been here since 16, so I kind of want to ask you this question. What has been, I know playing style for me is probably
Mm.
so many rules that have came into place. Like used to, tags were,
Mm.
we didn't, our gimmicks would keep hitting. It
Yeah.
didn't, things didn't tunnel.
There was no
Things didn't,
targeting, there was nothing
yeah,
like that. It was just a free-for-all mess. And yeah, so you're going off
so
based on like how did we play, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So what has been as rules, or has there been any other big changes that really kind
uh
of you had to refocus on?
well, that was the thing about knowing the creator. We kind of had him on speed dial. So,
Yeah.
when we did play and we did, encounter something, we'd have to message Steve. And back then he had a little more free time than now, that's for sure. So, and then eventually they ended up putting on the website and stuff like that. We ended up getting the rule books that came in the starter
Yeah.
packs. Chris Pagillo and John Polverino, still instrumental to this day, still were instrumental back then. They worked closer to Boss than myself and Cheetah. So
I
uh,
believe.
they knew also we could reach out to them.
And then talking about, the box sets and stuff like that. I think didn't they first come in the box sets of Backlash, if I ain't mistaken? Because
Yes.
that's when I was around for.
So I actually stopped playing around that time period. So the backlash. So when I see all the boxes, like that's like, oh wow, Paulie Pigeon, like
Yeah.
Paulie Pacone, Rob Graves, wow, Mr. Snap, those are later on. So I didn't actually get into it until a bit after that. But the starter boxes, like the original Chamomile and Sage, Those were, I believe, those were after um, Ombre and Snake Pit era.
So, moving along, how'd your character come about? Your penguin.
Oh yeah, that's a good question. No one's ever really asked that before. So penguins have a special place in my heart. My grandmother, when she was on the last legs of her life, she and I and my family went to the aquarium. That's a little around the corner from here, about like an hour out. And I remember pushing her wheelchair, and I didn't want anything. I just want to spend time with my grandma, and she ended up, oh, why don't you get this? Pull up this penguin. And I still have him. Those that actually see my pictures will know him. He's Scooter. It's this tall little emperor penguin. He's in the other room now. He's sleeping. So first penguin I got, and really just, seeing penguins makes, yeah, exactly. So, it makes me think of my grandmother, who I had a really close relationship with. So I kind of kept to it this day.
Well, I'm gonna show you a little something real quick. My girlfriend loves penguins as
Oh,
well,
yeah.
so she has a little collection as well.
Oh
too.
yeah, I would have a collection like that, but I have them all kinds of sizes. So I thought Scooter, when I originally named Scooter, those are very cute. She has good taste. I like that. So I originally chose to name Scooter because he scoots on his little belly. And then I started having friends and family members getting me stuffed penguins, and I'm like, okay, we slowly are massing up an entire penguin army so we can come up from the depths of Antarctica and take the rest of the world over. So it started going into bike, skate, Roomba, like all these like random forms of like transportation. It went crazy. So I'll have this, like, my one friend got me this penguin that's sitting down, as tall as me. He got it from like FAO Shorts or something like that, and like that one's bike. It got a little bit too crazy, but I do love penguins. And the original gimmick that I had with Le Penguin, I figure I add this. So Cheetah is the reason I'm in this game. My character was made from the Rumble raffles. So when they did the raffles this year in February, he actually got a whole bunch of us in with those raffles. So myself, Black Star, Kaiser Wolf, and Cheetah. So Cheetah paid for himself first and then got us 3 later on. So Cheetah's known as the Cheetah, and I'm like, well, I don't want to be the Penguin. So, I was like, oh, what should I be? I want to be something different. Kaiser went with German, which, was my first choice because I'm Schwab. Schwabe is German, yeah. So I went, all right, well, what's sophisticated? Who else likes to dress up a lot? And I love getting fancy. It's one of my favorite things. It's a nice confidence booster. So I was like, all right, well, how about Les Penguins? They are French. They are fancy. So I went with a French accent and a French theme. And then I started getting on like a backstory when the comics first started debuting, and you had Pat Mulligan and Kieran Squires coming out with some beautiful, amazing work. I'm a huge fan of the comics. So I was like, all right, well, if I could put myself in the comic, where would I be? So I started going on like a little backstory around that time. Like at that point, I was doing security work. So, by daytime, he's protecting the Louvre, the museum, and that's why in Le Penguin, you see the Louvre, because he's protecting the artifacts there. He's making sure they're closely guarded, but at night, he is a wrestler, so he comes out and he's got his wrestling attire, and kind of like a dual personality thing, kind of like get me in the game, being like, all right, well, I'm doing my job, making sure everything's secure, but when everyone's dropping their guard down, I'm out there, and I'm laying down elbows in the ring.
It's kind of cool that you say it. Kind of reminds me of a backwards Night of the Museum. The
Right?
artifacts
Right?
come alive. Your wrestling career comes to life.
Yep, it's one of my favorite movies.
So you have your group of friends, and you guys started the Animal Kingdom, right?
Yes. we went through a lot of names, to be honest.
Even though Black Star is not an animal, but he's still one of your friends. It's just not everyone can have an animal based persona for wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, look at the well, they transitioned to the Undisputed Underground now, and they have people like Shane Strickland in there, who's incredible, incredible person. Hopefully, we see him at GG3, and he's not an animal. So, I mean, we've gone through a lot of transitions and gone through a lot of different names and a lot of different people, but the core people were, and then we ended up getting Ronan in. So, like, you know, the Ronan, Black Star, Kaiser
Oh,
Wolf,
Black Star's
myself.
their veterinarian Bambata. Okay, that
Is that what he is? Look at that face paint. He's got to do something important, right?
okay. But still friends, even though I know that faction is now basically defunct, correct?
Yeah.
What,
We
what
just
do you-
use it as
yeah,
our tag name.
yeah. What caused the faction not to work? Was it just too many big personalities in one group?
Lack of participation.
That makes
So,
online or just in general.
100% online. The only ones that really take online seriously, out of the rest of us, the original core would probably be myself and Cheetah.
Makes
Black Star just started doing online GG2 virtually. And then, you know, when he had to, and then he participated in faction wars, I know, last year and this year. So
Yeah,
he
I've
gets
gotten
in
the
there.
pleasure of playing against Black Star.
Yeah.
I think once or twice. It's very, very random when he jumps in.
But it's always welcome. He's really good in person too. But I would have to say everyone kind of just either lost interest in the game or only does it in person. And then we did have a spot that all of us played in, kind of closer to all of us when Cheetah lived on the island here in New York. And then when he moved upstate, the place we went to didn't really show more like an interest in having us there. Like they had like a few random payoff packs here and there, and then we ended up losing the spot in the shelves and on the glass cases, and they weren't really interested in buying more, so we ended up playing in houses, and then we just stopped playing, and then I just focused on online and, you know, going to the tournaments in Highlander. And thankfully, now we play at Legendary Realms, which is kind of a drive. It's about 45 minutes from bosses. So,
But it's nice to have a home to play.
exactly.
So another question that I had
Hmm.
is, when did you make the transition from just playing to being on the payroll?
That was October of, can't say last year before that. So 2021, yeah.
And was that
Um,
just a thing of convenience? You were close by, so it was good to help, or
Yes. So Boss had just moved in around that time period, around the summer. Finished transitioning in, needed someone close by. To be fair, I know his first choice would have been Cheetah because he's very good at organizing. A lot of people don't know that. He's really good with lists and organization. So I kind of had to fill in those shoes because Cheetah moved up upstate to Lake Lucerne. So took me in. At that point, I was still doing security full time. So I came in and was helping him out 2 days a week. And to be fair, now things have kind of slowed down a little bit. So, you know, I go in when needed. We had the new releases with Johnny Correa and Spencer Wade and all those new cards that just came out. So, you know, the sales will come in, and that means I can come in. So.
when they were doing the Kickstarter, you assisted with that.
Yeah, the both Kickstarters, the Time Warp and the comics as well was also really big. So we had to basically, actually, my Empress came in as well. We need a lot of help. Mike Dipp from Crime Wave came in and helped out a lot. We had a lot of packing and making sure all the comics had all the things necessary, all the waves. It was a lot of work. So I was
So
there to help.
there's more people in the team that help out besides just you, but
Yes,
people know you because you also have your Penguin Cove every now and again.
I try to
Talk
when I
about
have
it.
something good. Yeah.
So it's fun. It's fulfilling work every
I
now and
love
then.
it. Best job in the biz. Don't need a union for it. As much as I know the foreman is trying to get in there, we're good. We don't need you, buddy.
All right. We got our first question from you. Well, we had a question earlier, but I wanted to bring that in a little later. But
Sure.
Italian Bombata asked, who is your
Hmm.
favorite tag team partner?
Oh,
Jason, Bombata, or Candyman?
oh man. Okay. So there's different levels of favorites.
Different levels of favorites.
Different levels of favorites,
Ouch.
because that's a little vague.
Let's do top 3, okay? Out of those options.
I would
Let's
say
do the top.
there's different ways of favorites. But let's do a top 3. Okay, that's fair. So I'm gonna put Jason actually down at the bottom because we haven't actually officially tagged yet. We've
Okay.
been in locals. We tagged online once against the Nightmare King, Dark Prince. I want to do more. So I'm going to leave him with Dan because we only physically tagged once. And we do have our tri-state tag shot this Sunday. Dan and I do have decent synergy, but again, we've only had like one match. So we need a little more XP.
Okay.
So that kind of leaves the 2 big fish in the room. So there's going to be the cheetah, and there's going to be the Italian Bombata, actually Shaggy Shark. Because I don't know, I know the Italian Bombata for a long time, but I've only tagged with the shark. So which one's my
Come on,
favorite? I gotta go with the shark, man.
Oh,
I gotta
shark
go with the
over
shark.
cheetah.
So I love the
Ooh.
cheetah. I love him to death, but the shark and I go for gold.
Well, I mean, it's fine. The cheetah has like 15 best friends. It happens. And fighting birds.
It's hard to choose 2.
Oh,
It's hard to
uh,
choose between the 2, but
yeah, no.
I gotta go with my
Foreman is
cuddle
not
leader.
liking you talking down about the.
There's plenty of other places to invest in Union, brother. Not with these guys. We're good.
Let's see. Okay. So Lucky Cat Nico asks, how does it feel after being robbed by Nightmare King in the
I saw
award
that.
show 2021 finally become the true face of the year in 2020?
Some say I was supposed to be for that year. I would politely decline that no, Nightmare King deserved that. After everything that happened. But light of recent events that have happened last year with the Nightmare King, I am honored. And I also found out kind of late that my speech that I had said was completely cut off because of technical difficulties. But I don't think that I'm anything special. I think that I'm coming in as me. I want my whole goal in life is to make people happy because when people are around me are happy, I'm at my best.
It is the hardest and greatest goal.
It also takes a lot of patience, and I gotta say, those that know me know that I have an abundance of it. So I'm happy to be the pillar to support the future faces of this great game.
Well,
And I will say,
Thank you.
I will say a lot of people that's a really rare, go as well. So I applaud you for that as well.
Thank you.
all right. So we're getting into the halfway point, and right here is where we like to do our little speedy question. So
Oh boy,
if
I'm
you-
prepared.
yeah, I have a bunch of them, but if you guys want to add any extra, please add them in the chat right now. So the first one I like doing is pineapple or sheep.
Oh, I knew you were gonna lead off with that one.
That's the original.
Got to go with the animal in the room. Especially, I'm a big fan of Farley, so sheep.
All right.
Wool cutters.
Then we have
I love
horse
Farley.
or shark.
Oh, I know a lot about sharks. I'm a good friend of the sea. I'm gonna go with shark.
All right. After shark, it's Candy Ma'am or Candy Man?
Oof. So the leader, the tri-state, or my partner. See, that I've been struggling on. So I've been watching these shows and I've been ready for that one, but I'm actually not ready. So I gotta go with the sweet Candy Ma'am because she's the one calling the shots right up there. So
And then Candy Ma'am or Emo Ma'am?
I met the emo man once, and I know how sweet the Candy Man is, so I gotta go Candy Man again. Double dose that Candy Man.
Oh. And then we have the Nightmare King or the Dark Prince?
Well, let me tell you something about that Dark Prince right here. He was not so nice in that tag match with Jason and myself. Do you know how many cards he played on Jason?
A lot.
No, zero. Zero. Guess who we played every single card in that tag match on? Me. So Nightmare King, you get a pass because you are I'm your predecessor. I'm the one that came after you. Dark Prince, not your biggest fan, man. You need to get a little better than that.
Okay. And because I forgot it last week and don't want to forget it again, cats or dogs?
Cats.
Cats.
I've had dogs, 2 dogs my entire life. I'm hypoallergenic to both, but after living with my Empress and getting to be the stepfather of our dear Skeeter, unfortunately he passed away beginning of December. And I want a cat badly, so it's gonna go cats all way every day.
Well, Nico in this chat is very happy.
I love my lucky cat. She's such a good cat.
And let's move on to another question that was just asked. Ohio Gaming Alliance would like to know what your toughest match has been.
Oh, I have one of those every single week against John Polverino, unofficially. So
It can't be your hardest match if you have it every week.
oh, he gives me a run for my money, I'll tell you that. But I will raise that a little bit, Foreman. My toughest title match, whether it be fighting in Origins, you know what? Let's go with Origins 2022. And that would be against the Transatlantic Express. That would be Mr. Hold the Line Harry and Jeremy Steigerwald in the semifinals for the Origins 2022 tag team event with Cheetah and myself.
That was definitely a nail biter of a match, back and forth the entire time. One of those that I'm happy got streamed. Sad that we lost most of that footage, but it was a good one. And then you went.
Yeah, and we went on and fought the newest tag sensation on the block, the South's very own Mop Boys. Big Pig Energy. I love those boys to death. Matthew and Brian Lee. I hope to see you both there. GG3. They were not easy either, honestly. That entire event, we got put up against Funtime Bob and Matt Nealon there. We did not fight Loud and Grumpy, but we fought some pretty big people there. So,
but it felt like that semifinals was definitely the
the fun. Definitely.
All right, we got
Got a question.
Le Penguin.
Oh.
Do you go sledding down an iceway while chasing a baby penguin?
No, because I keep my baby penguins safe, Schmidt. Thank you. Next.
Italian Bombata asks, favorite penguin-themed movie?
Happy Feet.
Only right after. I mean, Surf's Up is pretty good, but it's not as good as Happy Feet.
I've never
Appreciate
seen
you, Chibi. Happy Feet always, all day.
All right, and we have a in-house call from the Dark Prince. He would like to ask a question.
Bring him in.
Oh, really? I heard what you had to say about me.
Yeah. Why
Now
don't you
I have
try
now I have
putting those
two
cards
simple.
elsewhere?
Really, we will see about that, sir. We will see
Mm.
about that. But I have two hard-hitting questions for you.
Bring them on. Bring them on. What do you got for me?
One of them is, who's your dream opponent in LFF?
You know what? I want a little bit of slice of paradise. I'd love to fight Chuggy. Chugonomics.
Definitely a pain in the butt to fight.
I want that. Bring it, Chuggy. I can't wait to meet him in person.
My second question to you, if you were in any company and you were going after tag team titles, which company will you go for and which tag team titles will you go for? And your partner, of course.
Do they have to be living?
No.
Nope.
That's a no-brainer. Me and Macho Man Savage. Because we're the cream of the crowd. And nobody's gonna tell me I can't be a tag team champion. Because let me tell you something, brother. There's nothing you can do to stop me when I'm going on. So
Okay. Well, that's all I need to say. Carry on.
Oh, spank you.
Well,
No problem.
All right.
No problem.
So, with that one, it follows into another question that we haven't asked yet. How did you become a fan of wrestling, if you even are?
well, card games. I love card games. Wrestling was kind of on the back burner. The Cheetah, Black Star, two wrestling aficionados. I know Black Star's huge into New Japan. Constantly posting about it. And then I actually didn't go to my. I haven't even been to a wrestling event until Black Star brought me to an AEW event in Brooklyn at the Barclays. Don't remember the year. I know it was around 2019, I'd have to say. Maybe 2021. It's a little fuzzy. But that's where I actually got my Money in the Bank case. So a lot of people that have seen me used to bring around this Money in the Bank case. You will see it. I'm bringing it to GG3. I used to keep all my cards in there. That's where I got that. But I remember seeing Ricochet versus, I believe it was Velveteen Dream. It was a couple other people there that were around the card game as well. So after finally going to my first wrestling event, I started dipping into others. And of course, you know, with Super Show, you have, they go hand in hand with the independent wrestlers. So then I started going to HOG, and more recently I started going to Catalyst. And now the card game brought me in because I love getting signatures. I love meeting the wrestlers. Back in December, I re-met Anthony Gangone, who's become a good friend of mine. I see Smiley all the time. It's getting the signatures, getting personal with them, seeing them in the ring. It kind of just was like, instead of just sitting behind a TV screen and saying, oh, wow, there's, you know, Chris Jericho or, you know, The Miz, you know, doing their thing and whatnot. It's like, I'm in person. The energy, just like Super Show with these big events, is so much better to be around. It is the hype train for real. And that brought me into the wrestling world in a different way. So I'm not really big into AEW, not big into WWE.
But you have lots of friends in the Indies.
I love the Indies. I'll take them every day. Yeah.
All right. Evil Ed has one of those quick questions from earlier. Cheese or pickle?
Oh, pickle.
Pickle.
That's easy because I'm allergic to cheese.
Oh, wow.
And then Johnny Gaming decides, if you were to make a new competitor, what would it be and what type of finishers would it have?
Oh boy. So back when I created Le Penguin, I had his arch rival, because you know every superhero has to have a villain. So you might see him in the CCC. Maybe. I'm thinking about it. I have to get a costume for it. But I will give everyone here an exclusive heads up of what I have planned. Keeping with the avian theme, my second favorite bird is the osprey. So they're very prevalent around here and on Long Island, especially the further out east you go. They're fishing birds. So I was thinking, okay, well, the penguin's very, sophisticated, dresses very nicely. He's very proper and respectful and always looking out for others. So I was like, what is the complete opposite of that? And I came with the dirty osprey. And I pitched this idea to the cheetah a while back. He's like, oh, it's a name, the horrible name. It's so common. I'm like, okay, yeah, but I mean, it fits with the theme. He's quick. He's dirty. He doesn't care about sportsmanship. He'll smack you with the trash can. He's that type of guy, PG, of course, keeping it, but he's not all about formality. He's just there to screw things up. And I'll take it a step further. If I saw him in any sort of faction, I'd see him in the freak show. You might see the Dirty Osprey. Finishing Dirty Osprey. The finishes are still under development, so we're gonna have to stay tuned maybe till next year or the year after, see where things go.
Then we had a question: why did your Randy Savage sound like Yosemite Sam?
Rootin'est, tootin'est, cowboy shootin'est in the hallways. Oh, that there varmint, get through there. That's Yosemite Sam. I'm a stepping, But no, Randy Savage. And we're looking. Oh yeah, he's gonna look underneath. Oh yeah.
And then we have another question of: does pineapple belong on pizza?
You can throw whatever you want on pizza. I'm just not gonna eat it. I'm open to whatever, but I don't eat. I'm a bland guy. I like it just the way it is.
So, Penguin. Getting back to one of the topics we had at the beginning, Grand Gathering 3. You were at the first Grand Gathering, correct?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
One of our viewers asked earlier,
I know where this is.
Would you give for someone it's their first Grand Gathering?
Okay, you scared me there because I was about to say, are we throwing another zoo thing at me? Because those that were at the first Grand Gathering know that I skipped.
Okay, so please tell the zoo story because it's funnier every time I hear it. Because it is 100% something Cheetah would do.
Okay, so let's get the penguin out of the bag right now. There will be no zoo trip this year. 0, zip. As my Empress goes boo in the other room. Yes, no zoo trip. We're going to focus on Super Show. All right, so I didn't go to the zoo once. I went to the zoo twice. Not only that, I also went to a baseball game. So, yeah, I had other priorities.
In the middle of faction wars going on.
In the middle of faction wars. So it wasn't the zoo that cost me faction wars. It was the baseball game. So contrary to belief, all the shade that comes at me with the zoo, it wasn't the zoo. We went on Sunday after everything was done. And as a group. And my friend John and I went Friday after most of the big events. We had done our tag. So most of that was out of the way. But yes, Faction Wars is blamed to be a loss because of me not going to the zoo, is going to a Cincinnati Reds baseball game, which I did message him. I said, I can come now. They're going to win. Dodgers are losing. You want me to come? And he said no. And I said, are you sure? Because I always ask twice. Yes. Okay. So I stayed for the whole game.
I applaud you for being a Reds fan, but it was based. He striked out, folks.
Hey, you know what? It's not the Reds. It's the owners. It's the owners that are to blame.
Also, real quick, Big Bad Bobby D, it's good to see your text in the chat.
Bobby D.
But yes, Penguin did imply that ospreys are dirty birds.
I love them, but you don't want to hug them. I'd rather hug a penguin, just a little bit.
Yes, no. Coming in on "Do you want me to come?" line is definitely a perfect time to enter into tell us about yourself.
Bob, you should always show up, but only when you're feeling better. We don't want you coming there if you're not up for it. We love you, Bob.
Okay. But yeah,
And
getting back to the previous question, any tips of what you
Great
should
tips,
and
yes.
shouldn't do at the Grand Gathering?
Don't go to the zoo.
Easy one. Most people.
Focus on having fun. Focus on getting to know new people. Take promos, take pictures. Lasts a lifetime. I did not do that. I did not take a picture with Brian Cage. I did not take a picture with Sami Callihan. I did not take a picture of Melissa Santos. That being said, if there are exclusives, you should buy them. And that's not because I work for the company. It is because it is a once in a lifetime opportunity to meet the people that are on the card. Melissa Santos, back when Backstage interview was not around, the one with Bob on it, was the only entrance card that lets you look at your opponent's hand, valued over $100 at some point, and every single one of them that existed were signed. Do not miss this opportunity. We have Flip Gordon going to be there with his new comp. Bring markers, bring pens, bring smiles, have a great time. This is an accomplishment in and of itself for this fantastic community that is unlike any other on this planet. There'll be title shots, there'll be belts, but you know what? Belts always come second, because LFF stands for fan.
Well said.
Thank you.
All right, Dustin, we're getting to the end. If anyone has any other questions that they would like to ask, please ask them now. I know Bombada asked a really good one. I'm hoping we can get one more from him.
I love my Shaggy Shark, my Cuddles Commando Captain. Here's to the Cuddles.
Yeah, no, Will, I saw the question at the beginning, but I wanted to put that in towards the end just because it felt better to end with the Grand Gathering instead of beginning.
That's a good call. It is right around the corner.
And of course, that is a question that we already have the answer at. Are you going to the Grand Gathering?
Oh, you bet your bottom dollar I will be. I'll be there. The Empress and myself.
Okay, both penguins are going to be there.
Yes.
Now, are you working it or are you playing it?
From what I know, I will be playing in it. I will be working to get ourselves ready, packing product, making sure we have everything. We have a little bit of a different schedule with how things are going. So we have GM Calais is going to be helping doing a lot of the packing as well. We're getting product ready. We're making sure we have the binders set. So there's a lot of prep work to be done. That's where I'll be working, but I will be thoroughly enjoying my time with everyone there.
Good.
Nice.
Who are you most excited to see at Grand Gathering 3? Ask the Screaming Dancy.
Oh, I love Dancy. New England. I'm the New England boy at heart. I don't know everyone that's going, and I think that's what's stressing me out the most. So I know Dustin's going. Dustin, this will be my first time meeting you. I might have met you. I don't know if you're at the first Grand Gathering.
Man, gonna be honest with you, you were talking about earlier, like things to do. Things to not do is drink too much, because you'll forget half the whole Grand Gathering.
Then, brother, I'm happy to meet you there. I'm happy to
meet you too.
I don't know if Dom's gonna be there. Chuggy, I don't know if anybody knows this, but my competitor is so hard to get is because Chugonomics has a binder full of my competitors. So the reason I heard is because he really wants to meet me, and he wants to corner the market. Of course, SRGPC people know what they're doing. So if Chuggy will be there, I 100% want to meet him. Yasmin, I know will be there. I'm thoroughly looking forward to meeting her and the great outdoors as well. Anyone else? I don't know. I heard Polka might be there, so Kirk is always a great person to meet up in person. I saw him Origins 2022. He was kind of going out over there towards one of the other card games over there. He was kind of double dipping in the cards, but he's great. I love the Sheeples champion. I know the Candy Man and the Candy Dan will be there, so always good to see them too. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone. Even the people I see every single time I go to locals. This isn't Origins. This isn't Gen Con. This isn't Huntsville. This isn't Dragon Con. This isn't. I'm getting absorbed by everything else going on and then coming back to Super Show. This is just Super Show. This is our event. So I'm excited to see everyone. I'm prepared to give hugs. I'm prepared to sign signatures and spectacles, and I'm just looking for a great weekend with my family.
Best words to put it. It's overwhelming sometimes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But in a good way.
Oh yeah, of course. It's good anxiety.
Yeah,
Enough of that bad anxiety going on.
Well, Penguin, thank you. You've answered every question that I had for today. Dustin, do you have one more question before we go to the end topic?
We've answered farewell things that I wanted to go through. At this time, I don't have a question, to be honest.
All right. Then, Le Penguin, at the end of Tell Us About Yourself, we always like to give the guest a chance to ask one question apiece to both Dustin and myself. If you have a question you would like to ask us, please ask.
All right. Well, I'm going to go in alphabetical order. So C is before D. So Chibi, if you could see any character currently in the LFF in Chibi form, who would you want to see? And on top of that, would you like to see more to prompt a Chibi belt?
I don't see a need for a TV belt. That would be cute if someone decided to do something like that, but it's definitely not needed. We have way too many belt titles as it is. It would be fun to see someone do a smoking like how Steve Austin did the smoking skull belt when he held the world title. If someone swapped out one of the titles
with the Chibi, I like that. Okay, so I'll give 3. I want to hear your top 3. Who would you want to see in the Chibi-verse?
So, of course, in general, I would like to see any independent wrestler that be willing to do a Chibi, because that would always be fun.
Same here.
Second, or number 2 on the list that I would like. I would like to see John Pulverino as a Chibi. He already has Chibi art. Doing the rest of it wouldn't be difficult, and he's a character that it's a great deal. He has a big head as it is, so it's perfect.
Melts right in. Who's your number 1?
Number 1, I want to see some of the SRG, either the boss or Place. Someone like Ariel Lipstick. One of the family. Say,
you know who I could
Johnny.
See?
I'm telling people what I would love to see, and then I get hit in the head.
You know who I'd love to see as a Chibi that makes the most sense?
Who?
The Next Supreme.
The Next Supreme.
The Next Supreme.
I
know she just came out, but I think that'd be a really cute Chibi. I agree with you there. Dustin, my brother.
Angry Chibi Black Star. Well, I mean, that is
I'm all for
Black
it.
Star.
I'm all for it, Black Star. I'd love to see you in the Chibi.
It's just not in the top 3 that come to my head, because let's face it, the big thing is one, I would love to see independent wrestlers that would like that artwork. It would be fun, and then SRG Universe as a chibi. The first Trios chibi. It would be great. Come on.
I would love that. Actually, yeah, we don't have a Trios chibi. We don't even have a Tornado chibi on that end.
We have chibis on Tornado art. I got slammed back into my own universe by the Uberstar and the Llama.
I guess that counts. Dustin. All right, now for your question. So, you like wrestlers, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
you do. I know you do. You're a good man. So, if you were to be in an independent wrestler tag team, who would you choose to tag with? Do you have an idea of what your name would be and who would be on your finishes?
If so,
If they move
are
to
you asking-
WWE, that's okay too. Just no AJ Styles. He's too big.
Are you kind of asking like sort of like an independent wrestler to be a tag team in like SRG with?
Yeah. On a card.
Yeah. Okay, so I kind of like the concept with me is because one thing, if you've never met me in real life yet, if you meet me at Grand Gathering 3, no, I am not D1. I am short. I'm only like 5'5".
Big things
But-
come in small packages, sir.
Amen. But if I could have picked a teammate, and I kind of like the short, tall kind of, feel. I would kind of. It depends on if I'd be a heel or a face, which I like playing a heel in SRG. So, I could be my GPS character, and maybe I'm thinking of a big monster. I need a monster big guy. I mean, Big Show was always a heel. I can't, on top of my head, I can't think of any like
You know who I could see you with?
who.
He's coming into the game. Cruel.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I met him in Atlanta. That was awesome.
He's a deep south guy. I have been following
Believe it
him
or not,
ever
I'm
since.
actually wearing his.
Hey!
Oh, it was destiny.
It was supposed to be. Look at that.
I was wearing the shirt.
So ever since Hold the Line Harry pulled some strings and got him down there at the final dungeon, I started following his work, and he is quite impressive. I am extremely happy to see him coming to the game pretty soon.
He's
So
also apparently just a sweetheart.
I heard,
He's
and
very
up,
nice.
and he comes up
Very.
here in the New York area, which is incredible. So definitely, a nice guy, and he is interested in the game, and that's enough for me. So shout out to Hold the Line Harry for getting those strings pulled and getting him into the game.
And
'cause
that's an Atlanta shirt that I got from there.
there
I'm
you
proud
go.
of
So
But Le Penguin, thank you so much for being on Tell Us About Yourself. It was
It's
a
my
pleasure
honor.
to have you.
pleasure to
Dustin,
be here.
who do we
Indeed.
have for next?
All right, so this is the best way that I could actually say this because you got to have a lot of enthusiasm.
All
So,
right.
without further ado, next week's episode is going to feature always popping, never stopping.
Let's go. Twist and
Hop
poppin',
and twist.
never stopping.
Yeah.
Challenge taking. Let's go.
Mr. Pop
We
and
are-
Twist. Next
we're
week
gonna have-
on Tell Us About Yourself. It is going to be a entertaining Tuesday.
Show.
There
I
you
just
go.
want to say also, Le Penguin, before we we get off here, it's a pleasure you want to be on this show, and I message Press 1P, and we're gonna keep him on this show. By God.
Oh, I hope so. He is the player of the era for a reason. So definitely stay tuned for that, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, everyone. Can I get a bye, man?
And I'll see
Bye,
y'all.
man. Au revoir.
See you next time.
You did a very good job, Doug.